What's going on, guys? My name's Chad Dietz. I'm with the Bunker Golf Center, and today we're going to talk about club fitting and whether or not people are actually being fit properly or are they just being sold equipment. It's something that I see all the time when people come in just to go through our assessment process. We take a look at their clubs and the way that they're blueprinted and how they're jiving with each other. When I look at them, a lot of times guys will come and try to bypass that assessment process saying, I've already been fit for clubs, these are perfect for me. A lot of the times when we get on the launch monitor to maybe take a look at their golf swing, maybe they're inquiring about lessons, I'll start to see some weird characteristics of their ball flight that don't seem to be optimized. And I find it to be very concerning when a person has been club fit and I'm seeing these obscure numbers where they're maybe not hitting the ball high enough or they should be hitting it further, whatever the case may be. And that's the difference that we see as people go to big box branded stores or somewhere where there's a certified club fitter. And I just want to go over the process that you should be going through. And if these checkpoints aren't being made, there's probably some red flags and that might not be the best place for you to get your clubs. So that's what we're going to talk about today. First thing is static measurements. That's one thing that we see more non-so-contemporary club fitters using. So people want to check your lie angles. They want to check the length of the golf clubs opposed to your arm length and the height that you stand, as well as the lofts of your clubs and what we're looking at there. So what I like to start off doing is I will take static measurements, but I'm not going to use those as some universal way of fitting somebody. Dynamic measurements is what all contemporary club fitters are using today, and that's what we do here in the bunker. Is we want to see, are you coming in steep? Are you coming in super dumped under the plane? What is your ball flight doing while you're swinging the golf clubs? So a lot of the times, length, you might be a really tall guy with really short arms, but you might play better with a club that's maybe standard length or slightly under. It's what's happening while the club is moving is what we're looking at. Lie angle is another big important one, and most club fitters will go over your lie angles and how well they're suited for you. One thing that I like to do is whatever shaft we have picked out for you, we want to make sure that we're checking your lie angles with that exact club. The shaft's deflection, the different ways in which it's flexing, loading and unloading, we need that shaft, that weight, that length to play a part onto our lie. So we always want to make sure that we're checking our lie angles with the shaft we're going to be gaming. Those are some of the most common things. Grip size. People are always talking to me about grip size. I personally think that's a little bit more of a preference. Unless you're arthritic or certain things like that. But most of all, what I like to pay attention to is the shaft. And I think the shaft is oftentimes the most overlooked thing in a fitting for a couple of reasons. The first being the stiffness of the shaft and the profile of the shaft and how we're getting that shaft to time up at impact, the moment of truth. And that's what I feel like my job is as a club fitter, is to find a shaft that times up the best for our swing. What I notice for most golfers is our swing is more consistent than we give it credit for. If I get a guy coming, way over the top and swiping, 7 degrees to the left across the ball, if he was a right-handed golfer, what I notice is he'll do that same swing path more often than not. The thing that I see in the ball flight laws is he just has a very hard time controlling his club face and where it may be positioned. But the loading and unloading the shaft is pretty much, it can be consistent as his swing was in that direction. So my job is to find a shaft that is going to be fully loaded and fully unloaded by the time we hit the ball. Not too early, not too late. And the better off I can time that, the higher we can hit the shot, the further, the better we can control our spin rate. Dispersion will go down. But most of all, what I actually see is fat and thin shots happen a lot less. If I get a guy whose shaft is too stiff, a lot of times I'll see fat shots come out of that for whatever reason. I mean, so many things are happening at such a fast speed. It's very hard to articulate the science between why is he hitting it fat because it's too stiff. All I can say is if I get the right shaft profile and the right flex, I can eliminate fat shots by up to 50, 40%, just in what the club's doing. And obviously trying to identify if that's a swing flaw or if it's the shaft itself. Once we identify the perfect club for you, so if say we're doing an iron fitting, we find that magic 7 iron where we are hitting it as far, as high, as tightly dispersed as we can. Well, what's the next step? Well, the next step is to dissect that golf club. The swing weight, the exact shaft frequency or flex, everything. Everything needs to be accounted for. And what's the job of the fitter now? Is that he needs to have a builder on staff to clone that club. There's no point to buy a golf club that you were fit for if it's not going to be duplicated? And a lot of the times, I feel like this is the biggest bridge that most companies are not crossing, is when we go to a big outlet store to get fit. We might find the perfect club right then and there, but are those people, when we come to pick that club up, are they going to dissect it in front of us again and prove to us, hey, this 7-iron checks out exactly like the day we hit it? Because if it did, I would never be worried that you would hit the club like bad or you'd get terrible numbers out of it, because again, if I can do my job duplicating the exact club, I'm going to expect the performance to be the exact same. So a lot of the times what I would encourage people to do is, when you've been fit for clubs, ask about that club. Ask, what is the swing weight on this club? What is the frequency of this shaft? Why is this club working so good for me? And when you come back in to pick that club up, don't grab the clubs and just leave. Ask the guy to put it on the live board for you or on the frequency machine, and does this club check out? Because if it does, you're going to expect good results. Oftentimes, people are not willing to re-diagnose or look at that golf club because they're not sure either. We are relying on overseas builders to build our clubs at, a very rapid speed. How customized, I mean, they will get the length right, they will get the lie right, but is that shaft really performing the day you did in the fit? That's something to ask yourself. That's something they should be already trying to present to you.